Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back, frenemy Brian.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Jeff. We're looking back on 2022 as we prepare for 2023, and this is a good one. I got excited watching this one, that's for sure.
More user-submitted footage. I am excited too. We're fast approaching the 2023 bike racing season, but this one's back from 2022. This is submitted by Adam. Thank you for submitting your footage. Link in the description if you have footage, by the way. It's super easy to submit it. And then Brian and I can talk about all the things you do wrong, which is kind of the shtick. But I don't want to spoil it. A lot of things were done right in this race. Very excited to talk about this one. This is a Cat 3-4 35 plus race in the Washington D.C. area. It's called Ride Sally Ride Criterium. It is a short course, Brian.
Yeah, it's kind of your classic industrial park course, and it's short, it's fast, it's got 3 corners, it's got wide, good pavement, and it's really the recipe for a really fast route.
Ripping fast race. Not much wind to speak of, and this is the type of race where you start thinking, if you have no teammates like Adam here, you start thinking, how can I win this race? And that's the first thing that Adam did right, is he thought about this. With a lot of intention behind how he was going to execute. I think he visualized his win. He's like, okay, what am I good at? How can I pull that off in this race? Which sounds kind of no-do when you say it out loud, but a lot of people just kind of line up to their first crit and hope for the best. But let's talk about how he executed, because Adam's like, hey, I'm kind of a bigger guy. I have decent power. He's got, I think, a 335 watt FTPs, 85 kilograms according to his notes. But his strength lies in his, I hesitate to call it a sprint. It's about a 1 minute power, he says. So it's like a long sprint. And I can relate.
It's my kind of sprint.
It's your kind of sprint. Yeah, but you and me both. It's kind of a longer sprint. I'm probably better at the 30-second long sprint, but this is a weapon. Brian has won many a race with this weapon, this 1 minute power, because it catches everybody off guard. Who wants to chase inside of the final kilometer? Nobody does, right? So this can be a very powerful weapon, and and Adam's considered it, being a new racer to the sport. Very impressed with that. Let's see how he executes. Okay, but first a quick message from the sponsor of this video, and that is Bombas Socks. Bombas sent over a few of their cycling line of socks, and these things are great. They have a seamless toe, they have a stay-up technology. All of the stitching is designed to make sure that these things are extremely comfortable and have proper ventilation on the bike. But also, but wait, there's more. Bombas as a company has an amazing mission statement. They have a one purchased, one donated program. In other words, for every item you purchase, they give one out to somebody else less privileged, in need. So it's a great product. It's a great company. Check out the link in the description to learn more, and let's get back to the race. Okay, so we're about halfway through this race now. And here's the thing. We talked about how Adam's going to execute and how he's going to win this race. That is by unleashing this 1 minute power. But a lot of that planning takes place throughout the beginning of this race, and walk us through that, Brian. What's his position like right now?
Yeah, well, he's DFL. He's dead last, and that's on purpose, right? Because he's able to save the energy for that big effort. Those last 1 minute efforts, they're big, they're hard. There's a reason why people don't want to follow. But you have to be as fresh as possible. So that's where tail gunning, especially on a wide, good pavement course like this, little wind, very unlikely that you're going to encounter something like, a split in the pack or some big breakaway going away when the speeds are relatively high. So, this makes sense to be tail gunning on a course like this. And, there's pros and cons.
Yeah, like you said, on a wide course like this without a logical like pinch point or difficult section, it's very unlikely that the field is going to split up into pieces and you're going to get stuck behind that. And early on, Adam, in his notes, let us know that he identified the fact that the big teams were patrolling the front and kind of neutralizing each other. So he even thought that it's unlikely a breakaway is going to get away. So this is the perfect recipe. The course, the conditions, not much wind, and the fact that there's big teams on the front kind of controlling things for their sprinters means that you could go back and start to tail gun, except, what just happened?
Yeah, we had a little bit of an incident. Didn't look too bad there, but the problem is everything gets compounded as you go through the pack, and like the slinky effect that you're used to seeing. Well, if you're DFL, like that slinky effect is huge, and everyone here is scrambling for wheels, and you're doing 3, 4, 5, 600 watts. Like those are the bullets that you were planning on using just for your finish, and so you kind of got to weigh out like we just said, like the pros and the cons, and really kind of like ensure that what's the likelihood of something like that happening, and kind of hope for the best a little bit. Luckily, he wasn't caught out too bad on this one, and he had this really tall, lanky rider that he was able to get behind. But man, I've been caught out. I've been convinced that I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be at the back of the pack. The likelihood of you crashing is low when you're in this position, but being caught up behind a crash, that's a different story.
Yeah, still some gaps he's having to close down a little bit here, and immediately his heart rate's already 10 beats per minute higher than it has been for this entire race. I think back to Intelligentsia. There was a stage this last year at Intelligentsia where I made the same decision. I looked at the course, I looked at the composition, and I thought, hey, it's really Sergi on the front. I don't really want to be up there battling for the next 90 minutes, so I started a tail gun, and it's a risk-reward equation that you do in your head, just like we talked about, and I was caught behind a big split that I did not anticipate. I had the energy to make it across to the front group, just like Adam here had the energy to kind of stitch up those little gaps, but it costs you a little bit, and this is the math that you have to be doing in your head in a crit to find out like what's the right decision to make. Fortunately, he makes it back into the group, and I think he still got some energy for the finish. Let's fast forward and see what happens. And that brings us into just 3 kilometers to go, just a couple of laps left in this race. And Adam's moving up. He did such a good job. This is something we talk about in the Couch to Crit Masterclass, the course we just released. This is one strategy that you can practice not just on race day. I encourage folks to, in their local group ride, move back and forth within the group without ever touching the wind. And this is why it's important to practice those skills. See, even when he is out in the wind, he's doing it through the inside line of the corner. And look, he's just getting 2, 3 positions at a time, moving his way close to the front. There's no panic, there's no urgency, because he's still got some time, and he wants to save all of his energy in order to completely uncork that long sprint that he talked about in his notes. So Brian, what do you think? We're 2,500 meters to go. He's moved up. His heart rate's still in check. What's your plan as a guy who also has a monster 1 kilometer kind of effort in your legs?
I mean, again, I want to commend him for using the course to move up there. Like he just picked up like 15 spots just by ensuring he went through the inside line there. And I think preserving energy leading into that 1 minute effort is key, right? So making sure you don't have to do those big 500, 600 watt efforts, even if it's just to avoid them for a second. Any of those little accelerations are going to take it out of you. And so, making sure you're as close to the front as possible. Like here he is. I mean, yeah, he used a 500 there for a second, but he's doing like less than 200 watts here, and he's in like 4th wheel with 2K to go. I mean, how fresh can you get, right? And when you're closer to the front, and he's got himself right up on this team here, which is I think also really good, because they're going to respond to any of those last minute breakaways, which they do. And it's a good thing. I love seeing this. I love seeing him protect the inside line. It's getting a little dicey here, as it always does within the last lap and a half, but staying calm and collected nonetheless. And anytime these swarms come, which I think is his main danger on a wide course like this, is the swarms. He moves over onto these wheels and he jumps on those trains, which is really good too. Especially coming in here when that swarm came over the right of him right there.
Yeah, maintaining good position like between 5th and 10th, because you don't want to be too close to the front, right? But now we're closing in on 1 kilometer to go. You don't want to really get passed by too many riders at this point. I'm looking at this through the lens of a more field sprinter now, right? You like a 12-second effort, usually 200 meters to go. It truly becomes a race to the final corner, especially on this course. The final corner is only about 100 meters from the line, so you definitely want to be first to the final corner on a course like this. It's going to be really hard to make a pass within 100 meters. Exiting a corner going to be really tricky. I feel like he's moved too far back now. I feel like he needs to make up a couple of spots, especially with team control on the front. I don't know how much team control there is in a Cat 3-4 race, but It seems like it's slowing down here. Man, people giving up the inside line. Good on Adam just
Look
to
at
take that.
Yeah.
Like he just made up like 6 wheels. He didn't have to use that much power. Time to slot in because you don't want to be stuck out in the wind like this. But yeah, I mean, there isn't much team control. Now that we're up here, I'm seeing actually what's going on. Is this guy, what is this guy doing? Putting
Aero bars.
Aero bars within 500 meters of a crit. Bad idea, guys. Don't do that. It's just unsafe. Okay, at least he's through the corner. He's back into the drops. Oh my God. Total fight there on the left for this wheel, and Adam comes out on top, pushes that guy wide, and now he just sends it, right? This is his move. We talked about the last minute, last 45 seconds. That's where we're at now. He went from about 300 meters to go, chases down this final rider, overtakes him on the inside. This is brilliant. Look at this final corner, curb to curb. What did I say? Last corner. It's a fight for the last corner. Who can pass him here? Nobody. And that is
over.
That is a clean set of wheels. Easy win. I am pumped, dude. How good was that last corner? Can we watch that last corner again?
Yeah, no, and I think this was great. I'm so glad we watched this again because he uses his momentum on the exit of the corner there before the last corner, but he knows how important it is to be on the inside going in here. And, I'd say most people think, I want to take the widest line going into that last corner. You don't need to. When you have 4 lanes to go all the way to these tents on the outside, no one's going to come past you. And, I mean, it's only 100 meters, and, I mean, that was about as perfect as it gets, Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts are.
Well, I'll just echo what you said. Like, why take the inside like that? You're protecting the inside line. If you want to go super wide, like you said, Brian, which I think is the tendency for most new riders, you are leaving yourself exposed. If somebody comes up the inside, just like Adam showed us, like they're going to box you out. So you take a tight line through the final corner. This prevents people from overtaking you. But dude had so much power and so much speed coming in that final corner. It was going to be really hard to pass him anyway. Very well-deserved win, Adam. Thank you for submitting your footage. And by the way, guys, don't forget, if you have footage you want to submit, take a look at the link down in the description. 5 minutes, easy uploader. As always, Brian, great having you on.
Yeah, thanks again, Jeff.